Hello, guys and gals. It's Desi Arnaz, professional investor, and we are live today. And we're going to be talking today on our show. Is the Note Investing for Newbies show. You guys know this show, right? I know that some of you have been joining me now for weeks. As a matter of fact, more than a month. I'm happy to say this is episode number 6, right? So it's been a month and a half. And I'm really happy that you guys are here, hanging in there with me, learning about note investing, because note investing is a way to literally change your life. And so, what I'll be doing today is I'll be sharing with you guys some things. As I said, the name of our program is the Note Investing. I'll just say that. And as I said, I want to welcome you guys here today. Today, I've got an interesting topic. I'm going to be sharing some information with you about a topic that I shared with some of our students recently. And that is what I'm going to call, it's your real estate equity, right? People think that their real estate equity is something special. And actually, equity is pretty much useless, as I'll show you today, until you do something with it. And I'm going to show you guys a specific plan today to do something with your equity, and then to use that to actually build a note portfolio that will make you wealthy and take care of you for the rest of your life. And so, if there's any landlords out there today that are joining me, hit me up in the chat. Let me know if you're a landlord. Or if you have been a landlord. I know some of you have been landlords and are no longer landlords, like me, and so just let me know what kind of where you guys are in that space. Are you a landlord? See who we have on today. Head on over to my chat. Tell me who you are and where you're from in the chat. I would appreciate that, just to get a feel for who's out there joining me today. And as I said, we're going to be showing you today one of the ways to get to financial freedom if you're already a landlord. I was a landlord for a long, long time, 3 decades, more than 3 decades. And I never liked being a landlord, actually. I didn't enjoy it at all, but I did it because it's what I do, right? It's kind of like that's how a lot of things are in life. It's what I do. It doesn't matter. People go to their jobs every day because it's what they do, not because it's what they long to do. So that was me. I was a landlord out there dealing with tenants and toilets and trash. I was also doing some property flipping, all of that stuff. Any landlords or property flippers on here? Anybody on here ever flipped their property? That was kind of fun. I liked it because I always like the finished product, So yeah, hit me up in the chat. Let me know if you are a property flipper. I also want to encourage you guys, before we jump into our subject today, I want to encourage you to like and share this. Right? If you're watching me on Facebook, like this, share this. If you're watching me on YouTube, do me a favor and subscribe. That would be awesome. Do yourself a favor and subscribe too, right? Because I'm going to be providing valuable content that I'm sure you're going to love as time goes by. Okay. As I said, we're going to be talking today about elusive wealth known as real estate equity. And believe me when I say it is elusive, guys. It is elusive. We think we got it, but we really don't. Okay. Like and share, please. Do that for me. Thank you. And as I said, if you are on YouTube, here's what I'd like for you to do. Subscribe. If you don't know where my channel is on YouTube, if you happen to be on Facebook or watching this on LinkedIn or some other venue platform, just head on over to YouTube and just do a Google search, Desi Arnaz Notes, right? Just Desi Arnaz Notes. And here's how you spell my name right there. And then put notes right after it. And I pop up. Right? If you just put Desi Arnaz, you're going to wind up with Lucille Ball's husband. For those of you that ever watched the I Love Lucy show, I was named after him. And Arnaz is my middle name, actually. But I use that because people remember it. Okay? So let me get back over to the chat and see what we got going on here. All right. I see we got Tina Thompson on. Welcome, Tina, from Texas. Woo-hoo-hoo. And Tina says, Dad was a landlord. Yeah, you said was, but I'm assuming he's no longer a landlord. Yeah, I was a landlord. Yeah, landlording can be tough. It can be rewarding too, right? Leo from DC has joined us. Shout out to you, Leo, in the big DC. Glad to see you on with us today. We're going to be talking, as I said, about how to tap into your equity and what to do with equity, because a lot of us have made some big mistakes with our equity, and I am at the top of that list of people that have made big mistakes with their equity. So I'm glad you guys are here. Our show today is brought to you actually by the Note Investor University. So if you're not familiar with Note Investor University, it's a place where we teach people how to invest in mortgage notes. And we've had approaching now 500 students go through our training here. We started it the very month that COVID started, right? Back in 2020. And as I said, we've had approaching 500 students go through our training. I've got some on the screen there. You can see, got some, testimonials from some of the students. But in our training, our goal is to teach you how to become financially independent using mortgage notes, even if you don't have any money to start with, because it's not about that. And that's what we teach you, right? So you can just head on over to noteinvestoruniversity.com. You can learn more. I have a lot of free information there. You can learn more. And if you decide that you want to enroll in one of our trainings, you can feel free to do that too. I think it's something that you will not regret doing. All right. All right. So who else we got on here today? Says, yo, Desi, Note Conference. yo, it's like, yo, Adrian. You ever watch that? All right. So I'm glad that you're on today. I don't know who the Note Conference is. Note Conference, what's your name? First name? Just curious. Just curious. Okay. So guys, as I said, we're going to be talking about the elusive wealth of real estate equity. And I'm going to share a pretty sad story with you today. And the reason that it's sad to me is because it was actually my story. I watched my own wealth disappear in the last recession as a result of sitting on my real estate and being a little bit greedy. So I'm just going to share my story with you so that you get a feel for this, right? So back in the year 2000, I built a really nice single-story home on an acre of land here in Southern California. And I paid $420,000 to build that. And that was just the cost of building it. But then I did a lot of upgrades after that. I put probably another 80,000 in it, in cash over a period of 5 years or so, something like that. And so I had a lot of money tied up in this property, but I also had a lot of equity because by 2003, the property had appreciated in value to $550,000. Now, some of you guys might be kind of young and you might not have been paying attention to real estate before the last crash, but the prices were going crazy, kind of like they are right now, right? In most parts of the country, prices have kind of gone insane on real estate, just insane. I was just talking with a friend of mine over the weekend, and she was saying she lives in a senior community here in San Diego where the homes were all built in 1964. And none of the homes are larger than 1,400 square feet. They're all like 900 to 1,400 square feet. That's about what they are. And she was saying that homes in her area right now are selling just under $1 million. It's crazy. Prices are insane. Something has to give, right? And that's what I was saying back in 2003 and 4 and 5. I was saying, yes, something's got to give. The bubble will burst. That's what I said. But every year we would say, Lord, please give us one more year, right? Give us one more year, and we will then, we'll straighten up our ways, so to speak. Okay. So by 2005, my house was worth $550,000. By 2007, my property was worth $800,000. I know that because a neighbor of mine, I was a real estate broker, first of all, but a neighbor of mine also asked me to help him sell his house, and we sold it for $800,000, just a tad under $800,000. And my house was nicer than his on a nicer lot, and it was bigger in square footage. So I knew I could get $800,000 for my house for sure. And I told my wife, I said, you know what? As soon as this thing hits $1 million, we're out of here. I'm selling this house. And she's like, but it's my dream home. I said, I don't care. It gets to $1 million, we are selling. And my neighbor said, you know, I'm not going to take that chance. He said, I'm just going to sell now and rent for a while. And so that's what he decided to do. I decided to wait it out. And guys, that was in the spring of 2007. Were any of you guys investing around that time? If you were investing in 2007, put another yo in my chat, right? Or if you were a real estate owner, like a homeowner in 2007, just say you in the chat, right? Let me know, because that was me. I thought, okay, it's going to hit $1 million. Had my fingers crossed that it would hit $1 million. Of course, it's not something that we can control at all. Real estate values are not something that we can control or influence. They are what they are. And so that was the spring of 2007. Any guesses what happened in the fall of 2007? Those of you that are old enough to know? Yeah, fall of 2007, the market started shifting, right? And spring of 2007, I found myself sitting on $400,000 worth of equity. But by the fall of 2007, the market started shifting, and I saw a couple of one of the houses in our community, which was very similar to mine, sell for $750,000. And I was like, whoa. Plus, I was starting to see other things. As a real estate broker, I was starting to see other signs that the market was softening. And so I decided I better put my house up for sale. Yeah, Leo must have been around during this whole time, right? Leo says, kaboom. Yeah, if you were around during that time, you know what happened, right? We all saw it coming. In 2008, hit hard, and it hurt a lot of people, me included. So fall of 2007, I said, let's put this place up for sale. We listed it for sale, but it didn't sell right away because prices were starting to soften. And I think the public recognized that reality, right? No conference says, yeah, you were there too. Been there, done that, right? Been there, done that. So here's what I would say is this. You got to do something different than what I did, okay? I tried to wait it out, and then look what happened. Lost $50,000 in equity right there. It did not sell. I listed it for sale. It did not sell. Spring of 2008, just 6 months later, I lowered the price to $600,000 because prices were really starting to fall in 2008. And I lowered the price to $600,000, and it still didn't sell. Now, there's a reason for that, right? Obviously, if you were buying a house and you see prices coming down, why would you rush out and buy a house? Just say, hey, I'll just sit this out and wait. I'm in no hurry, right? I don't have to buy a house right now. I can wait another 6 months or a year or whatever, right? Because prices are coming down. And so I was literally chasing the prices down, trying to sell my house because I didn't act early enough. I let greed get in the way, and I didn't act when I had an opportunity. Don't let this happen to you, please. Learn from my mistakes. Fall of 2008, I got the price all the way down to $500,000, literally $300,000 less than a year and a half earlier, $300,000 less than 18 months earlier. So that's where I got the price down to, and nobody bought. Still, nobody bought. Summer of 2009, the house was finally sold by the bank. I gave it back to the bank. Summer of 2009, the bank sold it for $400,000, less than I had in it. I walked away from it, took the hit on my credit, right? Less than I had in it, a lot less than I had in it. And So someone got a really good deal, a really nice house with lots of upgrades for less than it cost to build that thing. So here's my question to you guys. What if I had done an equity conversion? And that's what we're going to talk about here for the next few minutes, an equity conversion. You may not have ever heard of that term, but I'm going to explain it to you today. The reason that you haven't heard of it is because I kind of made it up. Okay. But if I had done this, just this one simple thing, it could have made all the difference in the world. And so we're going to talk about that in just a minute. I want to remind you guys, though, that this show today is brought to you by the Note Investor University, where you can learn to invest in mortgage notes, and you can literally earn while you learn. We show you how to actually make money while you are learning to invest in mortgage notes. Okay, so you don't have to just pay to learn. When I got started investing in mortgage notes back in 2013, the guy that taught me to invest in mortgage notes at that time was charging $12,500 to teach people how to invest in notes. I hear today he's charging double that, charging like $25,000. There are lots of people out there charging $20,000, $10,000, $5,000, $30,000. I heard one guy that charges $50,000 to teach people how to invest in notes. And trust me when I tell you this, it's worth it, because if you learn this stuff, you will become wealthy in less than 5 years, for sure, if you just follow what you learn, probably in a couple of years like I did. But you can learn this stuff and you can put it into practice and change your life. So it's worth it. But what I do is at the Note Investor University, we teach the same things, because there are no secrets in this, right? There's just strategies and techniques. We teach the same stuff. We introduce you to the same circles of resources, title companies, foreclosure attorneys, real estate agents all around the country. We have all the same resources. We just don't charge so much, because my thinking when I started was this. My thinking was, if you got $25,000, you probably want to use that to buy a note instead of using that to pay me to teach you how to buy a note, right? And so my thinking was I could help more people and pay it forward if I put my prices to teach this stuff a lot less. As a matter of fact, for a while I was doing it for free. And what I found is that people don't appreciate something when it's for free. I know that's kind of a strange thing to say, but they don't, right? They don't see it and they don't do anything. And I got frustrated spending a lot of time teaching people how to invest in notes, and they weren't doing anything. And so I said, okay, I'm going to start charging a little bit, enough so that they feel like, okay, I've got a little money invested. I should pay attention and I should do what I'm being taught. So our training is just $149 a month to month. You can go to the university and learn more about that. Okay. I think that you'll find that there's not a better place to learn this business. Again, before I get back into our show today, I want to ask you to like and share this if you haven't done it already. Please like and share this on Facebook. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe. Just head over to Desi Arnaz Notes on YouTube. Type that into the URL bar, right? And you'll find me, and subscribe to my channel. You'll be notified every time. If you click the bell, you'll be notified every time I publish new materials, which is at least once a week. Most of the time it's twice a week. And so back to the question, what if I had done an equity conversion? Right? That word that I made up. An equity conversion. Here's what it is. That's where you convert your equity to cash. I was sitting there with all that money in equity, and I was thinking, man, we're loaded. We got all this equity. But the truth is, equity is tied to the value of the real estate, which is tied to the real estate market, which is tied to the overall global and world economy. I mean, so there was absolutely no assurances at all that I had equity. So if you're sitting out there today, right now in your home, and you're thinking that you got everything going on because you got equity in your real estate, you got to think again. It doesn't matter whether it's a rental property or whether it's your own residence. If your equity is in your real estate, you are risking your wealth, literally. And so you need to do what the wealthy do. The wealthy pull their equity out of the real estate, and then use that equity for other investments. That's the way the world works when you are trying to create real wealth. So let me just show you how that would work here for you guys. When you're trying to pull your equity out of real estate that you own, you've got 3 options that I'm going to talk about today. One is you can sell the real estate, or you could refinance the real estate and do something called a cash out refinance, right? Or you can take a home equity loan, also known as a home equity line of credit, or HELOC, H-E-L-O-C. You can do any of those. But I'm just going to show you guys, I want you guys to think about this. You saw my situation. I was sitting there with $400,000 in equity. What if I had just sold my real estate? Now, in my scenario, if I had sold the real estate after closing costs and stuff, let's just say if it cost me 50 grand to sell the real estate at 800,000. Wouldn't have cost that much because I am a broker, so I wouldn't have to pay a broker. But let's just say if it cost me 50 grand, then I would have had $350,000 in cash in my pocket. Or I could have just refinanced it and taken out 300,000. Or I could have taken out a home equity line of credit and taken out $250,000 in cash. Do you think my life would have looked different during the recession if I were sitting on $300,000 in cash? What do you think? Hit me up in the chat. Do you think that life would have been different for me if I had $300,000 or $350,000 in cash during the recession? You know? Because what happened for me during the recession was I didn't have $350,000 in cash, and I didn't have equity at the end of it. So basically, I lost it all, right? And that's the question. If it's possible that you're going to lose the equity, why not pull it out and put it to work in another investment? Or worst case, put it in the bank and just let it sit there until things turn around. My neighbor certainly did that, and I knew of another guy that did it as well. I know of another gentleman that sold his house here in Southern California, walked away with about $500,000, went and rented a house on the beach in Carlsbad, California, San Diego County, and waited till the market crashed. And when the market crashed, he was sitting there with a bank account filled with cash, and he started going out buying all that he could buy, buying as many properties as he could buy. And he literally converted that $500,000 equity position of his into more than $3 million in cash over the next 6 or 7 years when the market recovered. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So if I had sold my house, I would have walked away with $350,000. Looks like you guys are kind of shy. Nobody's hitting me up in the chat. But I would have walked away with $350,000 if I had sold my house, and I would have had money to work with. I could have rented a house, just like my neighbor did, and then I could have taken that money and used it for other things. Now, I know about note investing. Today, what I would do with that cash is I would take it and I would invest it in mortgage notes. Okay? Because investing it in mortgage notes, $350,000 invested at only 8%, which, by the way, I don't have anything in my portfolio that pays less than 10% at all. But if I were to invest it at only 8%, which is easy to do with notes, in 5 years, $350,000 grows to $521,400 compounded. Okay? 5 years. In 10 years, it grows to $776,000. I mean, that's way better than what I came out of out of my equity with. I came out of my equity with nothing, right? And that's what happened for a lot of people during the last recession, because they left the equity in the real estate. I can't express it strongly enough. You need to pull it out. If your parents are sitting there, or some friend of yours are sitting there with equity in their real estate, they need to get it out of the real estate and separate it from the real estate, because real estate values go up and down, and that equity is a function of the value. And when you can get your hands on that money, you should take it out and put it to work. Most people, though, don't know what to do with it when they get it out, and that's where note investing comes in. But in 15 years, $350,000 becomes 1.1 million. And in 20 years, 1.7 million. So if you're 45 right now and you're going to work until you're 65 and you're sitting on equity in your house, for example, $350,000 equity in the house that you currently have, or maybe one of your rentals, or between two of them, you have 350,000 or whatever. 20 years from now, when you retire, putting your money to work in good cash flowing notes, mortgage-backed notes, you could be looking at nearly $2 million just from that one investment alone. But of course, if you're still working for the next 20 years, you're also going to be saving more money, I assume, investing more money. I mean, you'll walk into retirement really, really in a healthy situation. Unlike more than 50% of Americans, according to the Social Security Administration, more than 50% of Americans retire with less than $50,000 in the bank. Less than $50,000 in the bank. And, you know, when you look through your own family, you can probably see that statistic play out. I certainly can in my family. So here's something that I can tell you. Note investors understand that they're in the money business, not the real estate business. Okay? They understand that they're in the money business. And they also understand that money is just a tool. People think that, you know, as you start to make a lot of money, you're out there chasing money. But once you really understand how money works, and by the way, money does work if you know what you're doing, right? Money, the purpose of money is to work so that you don't have to work. That's the goal. That's called financial freedom. Put your money to work. But once you understand how money works and how to put money to work, then you realize this is just a tool. That's all it is. The problem with it, though, is that most people haven't been trained on how to use the tool. Think about that. Most people haven't been trained on how to use the tool because it seems it should be natural, but it isn't. You know, we learn how to use every other tool that we buy or that we own, right? If we own a lawnmower, we learn how to use that thing. We learn how to start it. We learn how to change, how to fill it up with gas. We learn how to make it start, how to make it go forward, how to stop it. We learn how to use it. We learn how to use the kitchen tools in our homes. We take the time to learn, but money being a tool, people don't take the time to learn. And we give money to our children and we don't teach them that it's a tool and how to use it properly. And just like any other tool, if you use it incorrectly, most tools or many tools can cause harm to you or to others because you used it incorrectly. I almost cut one of my fingers off once on a power saw. I didn't know how to use a power saw, really. I thought I did. And it's the same thing with money, right? People think they know how to use money, but they really don't. And so one of the things that we need to learn is how money works. If you went to college, you probably didn't learn this because the truth is professors don't know how money works. I used to own a mortgage company and I did mortgages for many people that were in education, including a school district president here in Southern California and a principal and lots of teachers. And I was surprised that when I saw these people's really high income and the state of their financial statements, right? Their financial situations were a mess. And I thought, these are the people that are teaching our children. Good thing they're not teaching them about money because these people don't know a darn thing about how money works, as evidenced by what I saw when I would run their credit and try to get them approved for mortgages. I saw a mess in a lot of these people's lives, a lot of them. And that's a sad testament, but it's just the way that it is. People don't know what they don't know. And so what we do here at the Note Investor University is we teach people how money works. We teach you how to put it to work. We help you do the right things with money so that you can put money in the rearview mirror. You don't have to think about it anymore. Okay? All right. I see that, yeah, someone here says, yeah, my husband and I have discussed possibly pulling out the equity, but have not determined which option. Also, looking at it for home repairs and expenses. Desire to make a wise decision. Well, you should make a wise decision. Take it out, get your home repairs done if that's important to you guys. But what I'm simply saying is make sure that some of that cash gets invested for your future. That's the key, right? Make sure some of that cash gets invested for your future. And here's the other thing. If you guys are going to do this, you want to do it now, because when the property values start to come down, like I showed you that happened for me in late 2007, when the property values start to come down, the banks will not give you a home equity loan. You heard me right. They won't give it to you. And the reason they won't give it to you is because they don't know even if you have any equity. They've been through this before. This is not their first rodeo. So as soon as they see prices flatten out, banks start pulling in the reins and start saying, whoa, 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 the market is starting to shift. And they start taking away any home equity credit lines that they've already put out. And they stop making new home equity loans to people. And so I'm telling people right now, I'm telling my students, if you got equity, tap into it right now. Right now. You can borrow it inexpensively, probably 4%. Tap into it at 4%. Even if you just put it to work at 8%, you're going to make twice as much interest as you're going to pay. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? So as a matter of fact, like with you guys doing some repairs, if you put a little of it to work at 8% or 10% in a note, you'll make enough interest to pay the entire payment and on your refinance or on your home equity loan, and have extra money left over because the spread is so big. You know, if you're borrowing money at 4% and or even 5%, I think they're a little lower than that. But if you borrow money at 4% and you're lending it and you're investing it at 9 or 10 or even 12, I just bought a note today that I'm going to make 14% on. Why wouldn't I buy that? 14%? Okay. So you guys, the note business is where you want to put your money. And if you're going to take out money from your home equity loan, that's fine. It's smart to do it now while you still have equity. But you don't know when that equity is going to go away. But don't just take it and buy yourself a Hummer, you know, and go take a long vacation. That's not what this is for. If you want to create financial wealth, financial independence, you got to put the money to work first. You put the money to work first, and then you let the money pay for all the stuff you want. You know, I started now 9 years ago investing in mortgage notes. And, you know, I just drove the same old car forever. And now I bought a really, really nice Lincoln Aviator. It's got every possible option on it. And I don't have to make the payment because my investments far exceed, are 5 times. My monthly income from my investments are 5 or more times what my car payment is. But I didn't go buy the car first, right? You got to first build up your portfolio. And that's what we teach people how to do in the Northern Investor University. How to build a portfolio that will give you financial freedom. You can have financial freedom. You don't have to work for the rest of your life for money. I try to share that story with people. Try to share it with all my family, but even some of my family members just haven't grasped it yet. Some have, and they get it, right? But some people, I don't know what they're waiting for. I guess they like being broke, worrying about money. It takes a little bit of a sacrifice. You got to take some time to learn stuff. So maybe after you come home from work every day, you can't just plop down in front of the TV, or maybe you got to get up early so that you can take a class at the Northern Investor University or something to learn something. Maybe you have to attend some events or something like that, but you do that stuff, guys, just for a short time, a couple of years, 2-3 years, and you'll have all the money you'll ever need. Can you imagine a life where you just don't have to worry about money? Would that be good? Huh? Can you imagine a life? Who on here thinks that would be a good life to have? Well, let me tell you, that's my life right now. That's other students that I'm working with. That's their lives right now. They've gotten to the point that they just don't have to worry about money or think about it even anymore. They just don't have to worry or think about it because it's taken care of. Funny thing is, the more money you have and the more income you have from your investments, the less you actually think about money. It's a funny thing how that works. The analogy that I like to use to help people really get it is I say, look, think about this. Let's just say you're driving down the road in your car and you look at your gas gauge and the gas gauge is just tapping on empty, right? But yet you don't see a gas station in sight. Until you get to a gas station, you probably won't be thinking about hardly anything else. You're going to think a lot about gasoline for the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, whatever it is till you get to a gas station. Gasoline is going to be at the top of your mind because you know you're on empty. But once you fill your tank up and it's full, and you topped it off, you jump in your car, you don't even think about gas. It doesn't even enter to your consciousness. Let me tell you something, guys. Your bank account is exactly the same way. If your bank account is skipping around down there, at the bare minimum that you need to survive, if you're looking at your bank account and saying, man, if I lost my income for just 2 months, I'd be in trouble. If that's your life, then you need to sign up at the Note Investor University so I can show you how to get out of that. This is America. And it's not about how much money you have. I don't want you to sit here and say, well, I don't have equity. I don't have 350. You don't need money. There's plenty of money in the world. What you need are skills. Once you have the skills, money will find you. You guys know, and here, let me share this with you. I started investing in notes myself, 2013, using my own money. Then I ran out of money because I didn't have that much. I had about 100 grand. I ran out of money after buying just a few notes. So I had to figure out, if I was going to build a larger portfolio, I had to figure out how to use other people's money. Now, when I used to flip houses, I was flipping houses using other people's money. I would approach friends and family and say, hey, look, I'm about to flip this house. I need 50 grand. I need 100 grand. I need 10 grand, whatever. And I would bring family members together and they would lend me money. And then I'd go flip that house and pay them all back with interest. Well, can't you do the same thing with notes? Yes. The answer is yes, you can. You just have to know how. But guess what? If I didn't know how to flip a house, nobody would have given me a nickel. First thing was to get knowledge, right? Get some knowledge. And that's what I'm telling you. You don't need money. You need knowledge. I can't stress that enough. So get on over to the Note Investor University. Get yourself signed up. Let me show you how to learn what you need to learn and then how to do what you need to do so that you can create financial freedom for yourself now and forever. And then you must teach this to someone in the next generation. You must. I call that being the difference maker, guys. Being the difference maker in your own family. If your family's like mine, nobody had anything. We were broke, poor. Nobody had anything. And then I started making money as a real estate agent and as a mortgage company owner, but I wasn't wealthy. My family members thought I was wealthy. They used to say, Desi, are you rich? I said, no, I just make a lot of money. There's a big difference, right? You make a lot of money as a real estate agent, that's good. But the problem with it is it's all transactional. If you don't sell another house, you have no more money coming in. The thing about note investing, you buy these mortgage notes and you've got money coming in for decades. You buy a 30-year mortgage note, you could have that money coming in for the next 30 years. If you do like me and you have 50 or 60 of those things, where you got all this money coming in month after month after month into your mailbox, that's called financial freedom. Okay? That's what that's called, guys. I never had financial freedom when I owned my Century 21 franchise. I never had financial freedom when I owned the 2 different mortgage companies that I had. I used to own a record business where we sold records and 8-track tapes way back in the day. I made a lot of money. That was back in the 70s. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, I'm old. But that was back in the 70s. And I made a lot of money doing that. But none of it gave me financial freedom. None of it gave me peace because it was all transactional. I had to do another deal. It's always about the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. It wasn't until I found note investing that I knew that I had found the answer. This is what I've been looking for all along. a way to create income into your life passively forever. And that's what note investing will do for you. Okay. And now, as I said to you guys before, you don't need money to get started. Let me tell you something. When I started this in 2013, there's no way that I thought that I would ever be managing a $20 million investment fund. But I am a fund manager now. I have a $20 million investment fund that I manage. The $20 million is not my money. It's other people's money. Other people invest with me because they know I got it here. I know what I'm doing. And they know that I have integrity. That's why they invest with me. And that's what you need. If you are a person of integrity, all I've got to do is teach you the skills. You combine your integrity with your skills, and you will be attractive to people who don't want to learn this stuff, but they have money to invest. They want to put their retirement with you or someone like you. They don't want to leave it in the stock market because they already know what's going to happen in the stock market. It's going to crash again. It always does. Okay. And so you can offer people an opportunity to invest in something else that won't crash on them by buying mortgages. And you can be the Charles Schwab in their life, helping them out. Right? That could be you. That's all I'm saying. Does that sound good to you guys? That sound good? If that sounds good, just hit me up in the chat. Say, yeah, good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Come on. Come on. Give me some love there, guys. Because that's what this is about. That's what this is about. All right. Tina says, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Tina. Glad to see that you see the big picture, guys. Well, I'll get off my soapbox, guys. It's just that having grown up so poor in my own life and having watched so many people struggle financially, it just breaks my heart when they don't take the opportunities that are presented, especially when I know it's something that they can do. You know, I know that you can learn to invest in notes. What I don't know about you is if you have integrity. If you don't have integrity, don't bother signing up for the training, because people are going to see right through you right away and they won't invest with you. But if you want people to invest with you in your deals, then and you have integrity, then I can show you how to do that. Okay. So there you go, guys. That's our show for today. It is this is the Note Investing for Newbies show. I want to thank you guys for checking in with me today. I hope you found this enlightening and informative, and I hope to see you guys taking advantage of it. Head on over to the university, get yourself signed up, become a part of the team. There's a lot more to the university that I didn't even talk about. All I've talked about today was just about how to get to be financially free. And if you have equity in your real estate, consider pulling it out. Consider selling the property if you have to. If your credit's not good enough to pull it out, sell the property. Take the equity out that way, and then go rent someplace. Even if you have bad credit, if you say, hey, I can pay for the whole year in advance of rent, believe me, you'll get a place. Okay. And that's okay. It's not a problem. If the rent's $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, you pay $24,000, $36,000 out of your $500,000 that you have in equity, and you're good. Okay. All right, guys. God bless you all, and I'll see you all next Tuesday. Try to invite some other people to come on too, guys. Please do. I would appreciate that. All right. See you guys next week.